And this is how the system works when it's raining. As you can see, all the water is coming out of the overflow line, going down to the end of the street where there is a storm drain. But as you can see in here, all the water is going into the catch basin. We have 4 downspouts and a sump pump, plus 7 yard catch basins, all feeding into this system. Right here is where we have the mini dry well, and then this is hooked up into the overflow line that goes out. When that fills up, it will overflow and come out here at the end to the street. So let's take a look and see how this was all installed. What's going on, everybody? Dustin with Jersey Shore Drainage Solutions here, and today I'm going to show you how to eliminate water from flooding your yard by extending your downspouts out and adding catch basins into the yard to facilitate all of the groundwater to the front of the house. As you can see, we're going to come straight down here, tie off. We're going to have a catch basin over here. We're going to take it down, extending catch basin lines over here out into the yard, continuing down here, pick up this downspout and the sump pump line. We're going to tie them into it roughly about up in this area, going straight out, going all the way down towards the front of the house. We're going to pick up this downspout here, and we're going to pick up this downspout, so that way all the immediate water coming off our house isn't just going down onto the footing and going into the crawl space, flooding it out, which will cause future problems like rotted joists, rotted girders. Standing water in the crawl at all is not good. It can also cause mold, and you can have foundation issues. So then we're going to run all this out to here, where we'll be installing like a mini dry well system with a catch basin. And since they already have an overflow line here, all I'm going to do is cut the line back here. As you can see, I've already started to dig for it. Cut it over here into the ground, make the mini dry well with a catch basin, and make it so it can have an overflow line. When this starts to build up enough, it can overflow and go out into the street. So let's get started. And so far, we have the first 2 branch lines done. As you can see, whatever they had here before, they just had these little grates on top of it's like a long neck 90. So it wasn't really doing much. It's not an actual catch basin. As you can see over here, it's the same thing. Long neck 90, or well, I guess this is a T, swifting T. But as you can see, water's already coming into the trench as I'm digging it. When I actually put the catch basin here, it'll actually be dug down a little bit deeper, some rock, and then filter cloth and everything else. That way, when the water does facilitate off the grass and everything to go into the catch basin, anything around in the ground that's all around it can also filtrate into the ground, come up under from the catch basin, build up, and also go out in the trench to go all the way out to the street. And while working on another finger, we actually have to go through where this pipe is. If I go under it, I'll be too deep for the rest of my grade. Let's check. Look at that, 20 years, never cleaned it out or anything, and that's all the buildup. That's not bad at all. That's why I use PVC. What they messed up with is down the line, they converted over to corrugated, and I think that's where it ended up screwing up and not working anymore. But for 20 years, and that's all of their buildup of dirt with never cleaning it out, that's not bad at all. And here's another section I had to cut out as I'm digging my trench. And as you can see, there's a ton of water in it, and they only had it like 3-4 inches under the ground. This does not have enough fall to go to the street, which is why over time, I mean, this thing just didn't work. I'm surprised it ever really worked. But water's all coming back down this way, which means this is not downhill how it's supposed to be. That's why it's going to be done correctly, and everything's going to be pitched downhill to the street as it should be. And here we go. This is how they ran this sump pump and downspout out. As you can see, they cut a little hole there and try to shove it in. You see all that water still in there? Well, this is the line that supposedly takes it out all the way to the street. So, but that one is lower than this. And that being that low, how is that supposed to work? Answer is it's not. which is exactly why you have to do it the right way. So this looks like this goes down, 45s come over and probably ties into this line. But obviously, as you can see, it's no way in hell it's draining. And in fact, it's draining out of it back into my trench that I'm digging. So do not run your sump pump like that, people. And this is a perfect example of why I don't like corrugated as well. As you can see, they had no clean outs on this at all. This just kind of went up to it. She had disconnected it because it wasn't working. That's because it's slam packed. And so you can see right here where I cut it, it is just slam packed. And I bet you probably the same issue with this one over here. I already see a bunch of stuff in it, but I bet when I go to cut it, we're going to see the same thing. So again, that's another reason, another way why you should not run your downspouts perforated. All right, and now that I have the back all dug out, it's time to pipe it up and backfill. And here we go. As we start to pipe, you always want to make sure your first pipe shows the downhill to level. You always want to start that way, otherwise the whole system will be off. Now I'm putting the first catch basin in. You always want to put some rock in the bottom first, so that way it acts like a little mini dry well, attracts all the water from all around it. And when there's not enough water to build up to go into the pipe to go out to the street, it can easily drain back into the ground and not sit in the catch basin, because that'll end up breeding mosquitoes. And here we go. Always remember, drill holes in the bottom of the catch basins. Put a piece of filter cloth down, and then you put a little bit of more rock around it. And you see we got our level all the way downhill. Our next piece of pipe in. Same thing, we are over half the bubble downhill, so we got the grade going right. And now second finger, continuing on. Here we go. Now we have the second finger done. Filter cloth, holes in the catch basin, rock around. As you can see, we are downhill to level, and continue on. Here we go. Next section, still going downhill to level. Have the third catch basin in. As you can see, bubble's halfway. Everything's flowing in the way it's supposed to go. Again, filter cloth, drill holes in your catch basin. On to the next one. And here we go. Number 4, same thing. Filter cloth, drill holes, rock, level, downhill to level. 3 more to go. Very important thing here when you're installing catch basins, you have to make sure that the grate is going to be slightly below the ground level. Otherwise, how's the catch basin going to work? Also, please make sure you drill holes in the bottom of it, so that way water does not build up enough to go into the pipe, can facilitate back in the ground. You put rock all the way around it, put rock under it, put a piece of filter cloth on there. This way this acts like a mini dry well and helps attract all the water from the ground around it to go into the catch basin to also go out to where you want it to go. And here's number 5 catch basin. Same thing, rinse and repeat. Put the rock around it, rock under it, filter cloth. Make sure it's lower than the grass. Downhill to level. Keep it moving. And here's the next one. Number 6, same thing, rock, holes drilled, filter cloth, levels all the way down. So any water that goes in here, you're gonna shoot straight into there. 1 more left in the back, and then to hook up the other downspout and sump pump line. All right, and here we go, is the final one in the backyard. As you can see, everything's set up. Downhill to level, under the ground, rock, filter cloth, holes drilled. Now to get around the corner, hook up the downspout and the sump pump. But here we go, now they're all completely set up. And now the back is just about completed. Got downhill to level at the corner, and then everything's gonna go all the way down to the street. And as you can see right here as well, we also have that going downhill to level. That's how it's done. And here we go. Now I have the downspout and the pump line run into it. As you can see, we are downhill to level all the way. We got the sweeping T, so everything that comes down sweeps and it knows to go the direction all the way to the street. As you can see, before I even pipe it or force any water, it rained a little last night. I finished the trench this morning, so let it go. This is how it's going to flow when it's all covered up. Catch basin is going to go here. I'm going to use their existing line they had here when they put the other system in. It wasn't deep enough, and it was up down. It didn't have the right pitch. It wasn't doing what it was supposed to do. So the good thing is, though, since they have an overflow that broke the curb and I don't break the curb, I'm just going to go ahead and put my catch basin here and tie into it, so when this does fill up from all the water from the 4 downspouts and the surface drains, it'll be able to overflow and easily go onto the street. And here we go. Now we have the front downspouts hooked up. Sadly, we're on the footer, so I couldn't go any deeper, but thankfully we are still downhill to level. Over here, we're over here, got it hooked up. Sorry about that alarm going off. I've been waiting for it to go off for about an hour and it's still going off, so can't wait forever. As you can see, we got it completely downhill here, so as soon as all the water starts coming from the downspouts, it's gonna go. I got it 22'd into the system with a sweeping T. And then after it starts going, as you can see, still downhill to level here. All the way down. Still downhill to level here. We go down even further. All right, thank you. And then we got it downhill delivery here. So everything is beautiful. And actually it's more than half downhill there. And then here at the end, we got it shooting even further. So that way when all the water starts coming, it'll build up. Come on here, we got our catch basin, rock under it, filter cloth under that. That way the water's gonna build up here. And as it builds up, it's gonna hit this old line they had here. I tied into to overflow. Come out, and it'll come out at the street. Now to backfill it all and show you how it works. Now that everything is complete, you put the hose in the furthest part of the drainage system, which is over here at her downspout in the back right of the house. Then it goes underground to the system, ties into the catch basins to catch all the surface water. Another catch basin over there, over there, over there, over here, and we have 3 decently close by because that was where the worst of the standing water was. And I went ahead and she had some hay, so I put some hay down for her, made it bermed along the side, so that way it would stop going into our crawl space. Got the sump pump and the downspout tied into the system. Same over here. We got the front of the house. Everything is completed, backfilled, and everything's gonna run all the way down here to the end, to this catch basin. Oh, we got here just in time as the water started to get here. So what was that? Less than about 1 minute and 2 seconds for it to go 260 feet all the way at the end. It's gonna come in here. It's gonna build up, continuously builds up. And at the same time as it's building up, it's also trying to drain into the ground. But after it builds up, it's gonna go into this overflow line from the old system. I just tied into it because it was still perfect pitch for an overflow line. And here we go. This is exactly how it's done. As always, like, share, comment, subscribe. And until the next one.